to another top builder. Top builder team. This is Allen Play, Team Allen Play, Farscapian and Justin Rocket from where are you from? Justin, Alabama? That Rocket City Bitcoin Club? Is that what that is?
The good old deep south of Huntsville, Alabama,
Ooh, they
man.
have some good food
Southern
in the deep south,
hospitality.
don't they?
Yes, we had the best food in the deep south.
Yeah. And Farscapian, where are you at?
I live in St. Augustine, Florida, so we have a good meetup over there. We run the Old City Bitcoiners meetup in St. Augustine.
Okay.
Yep.
Austin. Awesome. So today we're talking about Allen Play, y'all's project that you have here in Top Builder. Give me a little background about yourselves. Obviously, I think a lot of people know who both of you are, but just for anybody who's watching who's never heard of Allen Play or Farscapian or Justin Rocket, give a little background of how you guys got into Bitcoin, who you are, and why you're building Allen Play.
Sure, I'll go first. So my background is software development and security, and I worked for a while at, in doing some security assessment stuff, and then I worked at an ISP doing some networking and architecture type work. And so my background really is networking, architecture, security, and in the last few years, I've gotten into VMs, containers, container deployments, Nginx, all of this kind of back end stuff. And how Allen Play kind of started was I met a guy from my meetup who works on Clams, which is an innovative Core Lightning wallet, web wallet. And I started playing around with it and just started continuing to make incremental improvements. And Allen Play kind of popped out. So that's how it started. But Justin, why don't you go?
Yeah, man. It's Justin Rocket, a meetup organizer down here in the Rocket City, also known as Huntsville, the great state of Alabama. Myself, I'm a full stack developer in training. Uh, I found out about Bitcoin one fateful day downtown with my family. There was a magazine. It wasn't Bitcoin magazine, but I believe the people who own Bitcoin magazine owned that Bitcoin magazine at the time. The name of the magazine escapes me at the moment, but it covered Bitcoin in depth, and I was like, man, this is something cool. I need to learn more about this. And so fast forward to 2021, I'm down in the great city of Nashville, going down there to their meetup at the time. I meet a lot of cool, interesting people. Carr being one of those individuals. I told him I had a dream of starting a meetup in my city, and one thing led to another, and now we're 2 years into it, running a meetup. And so, through conversations with friends and family, they said, Justin, you need to do more than just be a meetup organizer. You need to actually contribute to the software side of things. It's something that I've always had an interest in. And Bitcoin is such a great community, and there's so many awesome people and developers that are willing to help people who want to get in and help build on the network. Farscapian is one of those individuals. I actually met him at a Nashville event for all meetup organizers globally, and we met there, and we just connected, and we always stayed in touch. And one thing about Farscapian is he believes in me, and I really appreciate that. And you know, interacting with him, I learned about LM Play, and as time went on, it just became more interesting to me. And uh, Farscapian said, "Hey, I'm gonna be in this hackathon. I know you're interested in doing a software stuff, so why don't you, it's like throwing a baby into the pool." He said, "Come with me, and I'll throw you in, and then you gotta find your way out of the pool." So I find myself in this position, and that's a little bit about me.
That's awesome. I think one of the things that I've seen from both of y'all over the past year, a couple years that I've known y'all, I think is just the amount of just heart that y'all show and everything that you guys attempt to do. So tell me about, the heart that y'all put inside of Allen Play and what it means to y'all and why y'all are creating it.
Yeah, so I'll take that one. I mentioned briefly the origin story, and it's one of those things that it's kind of, I didn't start this project thinking that what I'm going to create is what we see today as Allen Play, but it was more like an incremental series of events really that led to the development of LM Play. Like I said, I started with the Clams remote, just playing around with that, packaging it up in Docker and this and that. And I figured, well, hey, Clams connects to a Core Lightning node to control it. So why don't we deploy Core Lightning as well? And of course, you need a backing Bitcoin node in addition. So that's kind of how it began. Just a very simple project that packages up Core Lightning and Bitcoin and also Clams remote and allowing Clams to connect back to the Core Lightning node. But around that time, when I was working on that piece, and I'll just jump over here to the origin story. We have everything on our website, lmplay.guide. We spent a lot of time on this, and so I recommend people just go ahead and take a look at it when you have a chance. But basically what happened is Bitcoin Plus Plus rolled around in Austin in 2023. I think that was May or April. And when I went into that hackathon, into that conference, along with one of the guys from Clams, John from Clams, we joined the same hackathon team, and we wanted to implement what's called Bolt 12 prisms. And believe it or not, we won the entire hackathon. There were like 20 different teams there, so massive competition. But we managed to pull it out, and we won. And so that gave me a lot of motivation to continue on with that. One of our team members was D++, and she at the conference presented her Lightning LARP presentation. And we all thought it was really cool that she was doing that, and that it was a good learning experience. But there were a couple of issues during her presentation. She used mainnet, and at the time, unfortunately, there was a lot of congestion in the mempool, and of course, blocks were 10 minutes, and so that kind of led to a bad user experience. And she was on our team, and so we got a chance to talk about it and learn from the experience and see what we could do to improve it. And so I took that conversation that weekend and went back home and started hacking away, and I set out to basically create an environment, a simulation environment that allows everyone to have their own Bitcoin Core node that they can connect to with Clams, but all of these Core Lightning nodes are all connected to each other in a closed Lightning environment and in a closed network, basically. And then also during that time, D++, she managed to get a presentation at BitBlock Boom, which was later in the year. And Car, if you remember, that was the same weekend for Startup Day.
Yeah.
And so D++ was doing that presentation, and John and I were there to support her. And man, it really went really well. And we had a lot of great feedback. Everyone, and we had about 70 or 80 people in the room. Everyone loved it, and so it gave us a massive motivation boost, and we just continued on. And since then, we've done a couple of meetups. I should show here, we have a showcase section on our website. And so we've documented each event that we've done. Yeah, so I mentioned we started with BitBlock Boom, and then we did Miami Bit Devs, the North Houston meetup, did another one, a Houston meetup also. And then the meetup I organized, the Old City Bitcoiners, we did one. And then D++ did another presentation at Unconfiscatable. And then this isn't, the TabConf is a little bit different story, and maybe I'll get to that a little bit later, but that's kind of our, business venture piece. Like, how do we expect to actually make money? And that's lmplay.live. And so we went to that TabConf hackathon, and we created a front end. And I'll just show you right here. I have a tab up here.
Let's jump into it.
Yeah, so this is lmplay.live, rent a private Lightning network. So the objective there is really, we wanted to provide Bitcoin meetup organizers or families or even like corporate boardrooms the ability to purchase a LM Play event whenever they wanted. So we created this website. Of course, you can see here it has a slider for nodes and the number of hours. And so the concept is you just select, I want 16 nodes. Let's say you have a small meetup and you can buy it. And for like $3 or $4, you can send in a Lightning transaction, and we'll provision you an instance of LM-Play. And now, right now, I have this buy button disabled, and we hope to enable that hopefully in round 3 if we make it to that. But the objective there is once you click that buy button and you pay for the LM-Play experience, you'll get, in this case, 16 unique QR codes back that you can hand out to individuals at your meetup. They scan that QR code, and Clams remote pops right up. And I worked with the Clams remote guys, and we came up with like a protocol so that I can put all of the node connection information, the rune and the node information, into this QR code that when they scan it and they click the button, their phone is just sitting right there at a wallet interface, and that wallet is ready to go. It's literally scan the QR code and boom, you're at your wallet interface. So the onboarding for new users is extremely simple in that regard, and hopefully that experience will help, give people a little bit of, maybe it's not as hard as I thought, even though mainnet definitely is harder than that. But in any case, each user, they get 1 Bitcoin to start with. Block time are 5 seconds. And so we avoid all of those mainnet issues and congestion issues that way. And we just, over the course of going through these events, we've just been dialing in and getting the performance and scalability just right so that we can deploy nodes now of over 200 nodes. And
Wow.
in fact, we provisioned an instance for Bitcoin++ in Buenos Aires. I'll be doing a 60-minute workshop on that, and people will get to play. But we'll be handing out these QR codes to every individual at the meetup or at the conference, and if they want to play with it, they certainly can. So that's pretty cool.
That's amazing. I think
Yeah.
I think that's one thing about that really sticks out for me about LM-Play and about what you guys are doing is all the, not only the proof of work, but it's just getting it in front of developers and getting it in front of users and doing the ground game. I don't think people really, I think I should say there's 2 sides to this. I think users and people like myself appreciate that because we like to be able to see things in person. But I don't think other builders / entrepreneurs / business people see the value in that. And we know this as Bitcoiners. We're cut from very similar cloths as far as how we see proof of work, but we know that that's valuable. It's one thing to just say things online. It's another thing to actually show up and say those very same things in person.
Yeah, you're right, and we've been working hard to try to get various meetups interested in running their own events, and we've got a number of events scheduled for this year already, and so it does seem to be getting some traction, and hopefully soon, within the next couple months, we'll be able to start opening up the product, if you will, to individuals, so anyone can just run it by making a purchase, and we'll host the software for you. So really what we're trying to do with lmplay.live is software hosting, making it easy for people to run their own instance. But what the major effort that we undertook for Top Builder, really, we had 2 major efforts. The first of which was this website right here, lmplay.guide. The objective for that really was to explain what the project is and also provide the resources anyone might need in order to host their own instance. So one of the things about lmplay.live is that, scalability is a bit of an issue here. And so we've restricted the number of nodes to a smaller degree. I think we'll go up to 64 nodes for like
That's a lot of nodes.
It is, but I only have a couple of machines at home, to run all of those on, and we've got concurrency issues and stuff like that. But I guess, but basically what we did is for lmplay.guide, if you want to run your own instance, it's all open source, you certainly can.
Yeah.
And so we wrote a bunch of documents here that describe how you can run your own instance. So on this host lmplay, we give you instructions on how to spin up a AWS instance and install the software and deploy it and configure it and all of that good stuff. So we have the install and deploy. We have some monitoring guidance here. And then one of the biggest efforts was we developed a functional test plan.
Mm-hmm.
So in the past 6 months, going through these meetups and these conference events, we wanted to really make sure we have a formal document for testing this thing end to end, so that everyone understands how the thing operates, and we can all agree on basically the functionality for the thing. So yeah, so I mentioned that we had two major efforts. The first one was Ellen Play, like I mentioned, and the other one is Ellen Widget. But before I go into that, I'll just stop there. And Justin, do you have anything to add on that last piece that we just talked about?
I think you pretty much covered everything. I don't think I need to beat a dead horse.
Yeah.
This is your baby. You've done a great job. I'm just here helping you babysit it, and I'm enjoying the ride in the car with you to get it from point A to point Z. There
Mm.
have been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into this project. I must say, I feel like Farscape and I work well together. We have had our moments, but we stuck with one another. I mean, that's just part of it. When you have a project and it's something that's meaningful and you feel like it's innovative, sometimes you can get kind of chippy with one another, because you want to see it flourish to its full potential. But I think we are a great team, and Farscaping has done well in planning this out, and you know, and trusting in me to be able to help him develop this and carry it to the next phase.
Yeah, has there
Yeah.
has there been any kind of like things that maybe y'all didn't see as hurdles when kind of doing this, and then now that you're like, oh wow, I learned that, didn't know that was going to be a thing, or is that like an everyday thing?
Yeah. Well,
I can speak on that.
I'll let just. Oh,
Yeah, sorry about that, Farscaping. I was going to say, one of the things that Farscaping and I ran into was, one of the biggest issues we had was a rate limit issue. And so, as we were speaking about earlier, this is something that's very interactive and has user participation involved in it. So the last thing you want is to have some type of presentation and you have anywhere from 50 to 200 users and nobody can do anything because of rate limit issues. And so that was something that we ran into. And I don't, based on my experience, it's something that I hadn't thought out, and luckily we were able to find an individual who was able to help us with this situation. Shout out to Mr. Alex Myers. And we're still in the process of getting that worked out. But you run into a lot of these different issues, and one of the things that I've learned working with Farscaping, he warned me. He said, these things are very brittle, and so any given moment it can break apart or come apart. So you just have to be prepared to pivot and be prepared, with your contingency plan. So, I think you probably can ask any of the teams; they probably all run into these type of issues.
Right. Yeah, that's it's definitely something that I think a lot of us are learning this cycle, right? Okay, so let's jump into kind of the high level, then the lower level as far as the technical things that you can accomplish with this Farscapian. How are they going to use it in Buenos Aires, and then how have they used it in the past, and vice versa? What will be different this time?
sure. So in the past, we've kind of really focused on the Ellen Play simulation, if you will, the Lightning Network simulation, just like a beginning intro for individuals learning about Lightning Network channels, payments, Bolt 12, things like that, forwarding. But what we did is we created ellenwidget.guide. We wanted to take Top Builder and extend the application to other use cases. And so what the major effort we undertook, the other major effort is Ellen Widget Guide. And our objective there really, so from an architectural perspective, you should understand that when you deploy Ellen Play, which is 100% a back-end application, when you deploy it, it exposes Core Lightning's REST and WebSocket interfaces. And so what we wanted to do, since everyone receives this QR code, they have the authentication or authorization rune information in there. And we thought, well, hey, they have this information. Why can't they take that information and decompose it and use it to develop applications on Core Lightning? And so what we did, we created lmwidget.guide, and it is a kind of a beginner guide, getting started guide to developing front-end web applications using LM-Play. Well, it's not just LM-Play. Any core Lightning instance will work, but for our purposes, for the Bitcoin Plus Plus conference, we thought, well, hey, we're giving out these QR codes. There's a hackathon afterward. Let's give people the ability to use that connection information to develop core Lightning plugins and or front-end web applications. So we wrote lmwidget.guide. We have a getting started guide on how to take your QR code and get the rune out of it. Then we have another post here on how to interact with your core Lightning node over the REST interface. So we developed a short tool here, a bash script, for people to interact with their core Lightning node. And then here's a post we added, and this relates to what Justin mentioned on getting help from an open source contributor, Alex. We wanted to use the Reckless plugin, which is a script basically for automatically downloading and activating new core Lightning plugins. Mm-hmm. And so we developed another core Lightning plugin that, first of all, exposes that functionality to the end user. But as Justin mentioned, we were running into a lot of rate limiting issues. But after working with Alex, we got those resolved. So again, another shout out to him. Appreciate that very much. And I found out this morning that those changes have resulted in a pull request, and they've been merged into the main branch of Lightning already. So that's
wow, look
cool.
at you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Improving the ecosystem a little bit. And then the final page here is just a demo, and I think we need to update it a little bit here. So, but the point is, we created an HTMX widget, and it pulls information back from the core Lightning node. So at the end of the day, we just provide a few short blog posts on, to give people, hey, this is how you get started developing core Lightning plugins, and maybe a front-end web application as well using core Lightning. And we kind of view this work as like, well, we can sell these instances to users, but we could also extend the functionality to something like a corporate environment. Let's say you have an IT department or a software development group, and they're working on a Lightning application. Well, you can deploy LM-Play as development infrastructure, essentially, or use LM-Play as like an integration or a staging environment as well. So just in the same way that we're using it at a Bitcoin conference, people can develop their plugins locally, and then they can push them to this shared instance that's on a closed Lightning network, so it's not going to affect anybody else. And it's just a really good environment for integration and staging applications, I think.
That's amazing.
So that's how we're pushed it forward this last few weeks here.
That's amazing. What? Tell me a little bit about. I know you guys are working with Clams, one of the other top builder teams, and then you're going to be at Buenos Aires. Kind of tell me how that's all going to kind of play into account here in the next couple days, or I guess should be tomorrow, I guess, right?
Yeah, there's I'm giving a 60-minute presentation, a workshop at Bitcoin Plus Plus. It's just basically going to be 30 minutes of what is LM-Play, how might you use it, what are the applications here, and then we're going to just give everyone their QR codes and let them go at it. So we do have some basic instructions, lmplay.guide/start. And people will view this, and we have a few instructions here on what their objectives are. But basically, they're just going to be opening channels with each other, making payments, learning about Bolt 12. It's really just a demo, a Lightning Network demo, but it's something you have to experience. You have to be in the room with other people and make the payments, scanning their QR codes. It's just a very interactive experience. And I should mention, you mentioned Clams. The end users, what they get to see is Clams. But what LM-Play is the thing that Clams is connecting to. So I'm very lucky to have met the Clams people, because these guys, they know what they're doing when it comes to design and making things look good. So it's great for me because, I give these QR codes out, and everyone sees an amazing user experience. I have nothing to do
Yeah.
with that, but what they're connecting to is the backend system that I did develop, and that's mostly a Docker application. It's written in Bash,
Mm.
uses a lot of YAML and stuff like that. But it's just been a very fun project for me, and I've really enjoyed working with Justin. And he mentioned, we have, a fun relationship, and I'm surprised, I can be kind of demanding. So I'm glad he stuck around this
You're
entire
not
time.
demanding, Farscapian. You're not. It's just Justin's a handful. Let's just be honest here. I know Justin. Justin, you're a handful, bro.
Yeah, I can be. I wanted to chime in too and say that this evening I'm gonna be doing the demo before the demo.
Nice.
Um, our
Yes, sir.
meetup is going on this evening. It's every third Wednesday. You can find us on Twitter at Huntsville BTC. And I'm going to be doing a similar presentation as Farscapian, just on a much smaller scale. We expect anywhere from 10 to 15 people. And so hopefully I'll be able to collect some good feedback and get it to Farscapian before his presentation tomorrow. So I'm going to be doing the demo before the demo.
Nice.
That's right.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I will say this. I'm gonna say every person, but I want to say it usually works out this way that once somebody does a Bitcoin plus plus workshop, it turns into something. So you guys are on the right track. Keep following the yellow brick road or the Bitcoin road, wherever it leads you, because
It's the Orange Brick Road,
Orange
Carl.
Brick Road. There you go. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. But yeah, you guys, you guys are in good hands over there, and I can't wait to hear back from all of y'all and and see hopefully how it turns out. But
Hey, Car, can I
yeah,
mention one last thing I forgot to
sure,
bring up?
yeah,
So before all of the BitBlock Boom stuff, remember we talked about the Bolt 12 Prism hackathon
oh yeah,
that kind of started this whole thing. And I just want to mention we created a website called RoyGBiv. It's at roygbib.guide. Here it is. And this is like a website demonstrating the use of Bolt 12 prisms. Okay. Now there's one page here, the RoyGBiv demo. And if you scroll down, you can see there's a little setup we have here that's perfect for testing payment splits. So, there's a channel here, 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 and here. And so we used LMPlay basically to create the demo for this website. So if you go to roygbib.guide/demo and scroll down, you'll have 5 nodes that you can connect to: Alice, Bob, Carol, Dave, and Aaron. That is set up just like this. And you can test these Bolt 12 payment splits using clams. And that's probably the quickest and easiest way for you to kind of get an experience with clams and LMPlay, is just by using that demo.
that's
And
awesome. And I this is just me kind of wanting to share this with everybody who's listening or watching. I don't think people realize just how important places like Bitcoin Plus Plus or even places like PlebLab or TabConf, like all these things, like connect together, if that makes sense, right? Like, Damien read Jimmy Song's book, right? Then he came to Bitcoin Plus Plus because Jimmy told him to come to Bitcoin Plus Plus. Then from there, he met you and the rest of the team there, made prisms, right? Then you guys made 3 separate things. It was like clams, prisms, and Ellen Play. And where you guys are right now compared to where you were a year ago, it all kind of fed itself. And you see all these places that that have helped get you to where you want to go together. And I don't think people realize just how important these type of places are for people like yourselves who are trying to find their way into the Bitcoin ecosystem and create something that the world can use, right? Because potentially prisms, clams, and Allen Play are game-changing platforms and technologies and projects. So just wanted to share that because I know y'all won't. You are too humble to say that, but I will.
Well, I appreciate that, Car, and I'll second that. After going to Bitcoin Plus Plus and winning that hackathon, man, it just really gave me a massive motivation boost, and I'm thrilled to be working on Bitcoin-related projects. And everyone in Bitcoin is just so helpful, and it makes it so much better to work in an environment like this. So I'm grateful.
You got to support the builders. If you're out there, you're looking for a place to support, you got to support these guys. support everybody who's trying to make Bitcoin better. How else are we supposed to solve the scaling problems that are bringing the drama so all over the place? How are we supposed to do it? Can't just stand around with our hands behind our back. We got to participate, and this is what these guys are doing.
Yeah, Justin can attest. We are not sitting around with our hands tied. So working every single day.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Do you guys have any last thoughts or anything like that you want to share? Go back to the page, Farscapian, so we can we can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, just the last thought here would be this excellent poem by Pleb Poet. I met her also at Bitcoin Plus Plus and kind of made friends, and I asked her, hey, you've got some creative genius. Can you help me out here with the website? And she created this excellent poem, which I think perfectly sums up Ellen Play. And so please, I'm not going to read it here, but take a look at it when you get a chance and, read the website. And I appreciate your attention to that. And hopefully one day you'll get to experience Ellen Play for yourself.
Justin, you have anything?
Yeah, man, you guys just go over to lnplay.guide and give it a try. We're easily accessible. You can find our links to our GitHub accounts. If you have any concerns or questions, you can reach us there, or you can leave a comment on this video. We're pretty easy people to talk to. And you guys really need to give it, a spin. It's something that you can implement in your communities. Like Farscapian said earlier, it's something that you can implement in your local meetup. It's not scary, Again, it's a test network. It's not going to be something we're going to actually lose Bitcoin. So don't, chicken out. Just, implement it and try it.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, definitely go. If you're interested in Lightning, you're interested in building, check out lnplay.glide. And then for you at home, the next top builder, if you want to come to Austin and meet Farscapian, this hacker legend, meet this guy over here from Alabama, his name is Justin Rocket. You want to meet these people, you want to hang out with them, you got to come to Austin, March 14th, 2024, on a Thursday. We're going to be partying the whole day. We're popping bottles, champagne. It's all going to be on Wolf. They're going to take care of it all. Somebody's going to win 15K in Bitcoin. Somebody's going to win a trophy. It might be these guys. It just might. You never know. But if you want to be a part of it, come to Austin for South by, or like we like to say here, Sats by. And yeah, come and make it. All right, we'll see y'all next time.